Opera has always been and will always remain an ephemeral art. Each evening at New York City Opera, the Met, or Carnegie Hall is a unique experience that cannot be relived a second time. Nonetheless, the wish to hold on to these magical moments is nothing new. Every detailed performance review is already a manifestation of this instinctive desire. Although recording technologies have made it possible to capture more and more dimensions of performance, image, sound, stage action, surprisingly few operas are actually accessible to the general public today. Only a fraction of all opera productions has been commercially recorded or filmed. Who chooses what is to be captured and cherished as cultural heritage for posterity? Who is responsible for the loss of thousands of hours of performances that could, and perhaps should, have been recorded and shared with future generations? Leroy Allan Ehrenreich was one of those who could not live to see these treasures disappear. Starting in the 1960s, when portable tape recorders of disguisable size became available, Leroy began illicitly taping every opera performance he attended, meticulously compiling and documenting every recording. Who was Ehrenreich, and how did his intriguing collection come into being? Roy was born in New York City and grew up with his adoptive Jewish parents in the Bronx. In 1939, a refugee boy from Berlin joined the family, Roy's adoptive brother, who would later become the successful rock and roll impresario Bill Graham. Roy's passion for opera emerged already in his early teenage years when he started going downtown to wait in line for standing room tickets at the old Met. After studying business and journalism at the University of Pennsylvania, Ehrenreich returned to New York and became a speechwriter at the New York Stock Exchange. This daytime job enabled him to finance his passion as an opera bootlegger for nearly 5 decades. Roy had a subscription to the New York City Opera, as well as the American Opera Society at Carnegie Hall and the Opera Orchestra at New York. He also recorded every seasonal Saturday afternoon radio broadcast from the Met, and if he missed one, was sure to get the recording from a friend. Throughout his career as a self-proclaimed pirate queen, Ehrenreich compiled an impressive collection of over 2,000 reel-to-reel tapes, comprising around 30,000 hours of opera recordings, many of which are unique. In an impossible effort at completeness, Roy added to his own bootlegs a huge volume of bootleg recordings received from friends and friends of friends, as well as commercial records that had become difficult to find, which he transferred onto the same reel-to-reel tapes and included in his detailed documentation system. At the time of his passing in 2016, Roy donated his life work with a specific request of making it available for research. His friend and testamentary advisor, John Mage, was left with the difficult task of searching for an institution that would adopt the collection. The Bern University of the Arts accepted this challenge, and so the Ehrenreich Collection came to Bern. The boxes were shipped in October 2017. Upon arrival, it became clear that the rooms originally foreseen for the collection would be inadequate in terms of light, temperature, and humidity. Finally, we were able to find a space with good climatic conditions, decent accessibility, and security standards at Hallerstrasse 6 in the external archive of the Library of the Bern University of the Arts. In 2018, a pilot study examined the conservational, legal, and musicological characteristics of the Ehrenreich Collection, concluding that, despite the legal and ethical challenges posed by the nature of bootlegging, its contents present unique and invaluable evidence for understanding operatic practice in the second half of the 20th century. Accordingly, a process for digital conservation was launched in 2018 to ensure the preservation of the tapes, some of which are in critical condition. Here you see parts of the collection in storage, the tapes still in their original shipping boxes, waiting to be selected for digitization. Besides the recordings themselves, the collection contains opera programs for most of the performances attended, newspaper clippings, catalogues of rare recordings, collectors' magazines, opera magazines, and an extensive musical library. One unique document in the collection is Ehrenreich's honors thesis on the journalistic history of the opera in Philadelphia, written as part of his degree in journalism. Another is his Baker's Dictionary, to which he's added hundreds of newspaper clippings. Some of the original transferring equipment, recording machines and microphones, made it across the ocean as well. Roy used UHR portable recorders for many years. His practice was to transfer everything he collected or received onto reel-to-reel tapes. Even as recording techniques advanced and he adopted miniaturized microphones and DAT recorders, everything he recorded or acquired from others was transferred to reel-to-reels. Ehrenreich created an impressive digital catalog of his tapes, indexed with reference to a system of unique codes. This effort has now made it possible to create a rich data sheet for understanding and searching the collection. In addition, each tape box contains further information about the performances, program extracts, reviews, and precious personal notes about the recording's content, quality, and provenance. Making the choices about what to digitize first was one of the major challenges of this project. Since Roy did not distinguish between live bootlegs, radio broadcasts, and commercial recordings on his tapes, it became clear that we would not be able to digitize only one category of recording at a time. Indeed, once a tape is set up for digitization, we have to let it run and digitize the whole content, as it is often a one-time chance. The first priority chosen by the HKB team were the tapes containing live bootlegs from New York City Opera. Since NYCO's own archive was largely destroyed, and the Ehrenreich Collection offers a nearly seamless perspective of city opera programming, week by week, this seemed like an important first step. Incidentally, these tapes contain many other things as well, and so the digital collection began to grow in all directions. Let us take a look at what happens to the chosen tapes once they are selected, identified, documented, and packed up for transport.
Bringen wir die HKB-Länder. Studio. Unsere Studios sind vornehmlich mit professionellen Maschinen, die Studer A820 bestückt. Wenn es irgendwie möglich ist, benutzen wir diese besonders guten Maschinen. Die sind sehr flexibel einzustellen. Hier ist zum Beispiel jetzt die für Kerne im DIN-Format vorgesehen. Das können wir umbauen. Wir haben verschiedene Kernaufnahmen, zum Beispiel für NAB, aber auch für Consumer-Formate. Ich nehme ein Band, das digitalisiert werden soll. Vor dem Aufnehmen prüfen wir den Inhalt, ob der in sich stimmig ist. Auf dem Spulkern, da stehen auch noch Hinweise auf den Inhalt. Es gibt Beilagen, Beipackzettel, die von uns auch angeguckt werden. Wenn alles passt und stimmt, dann legen wir das Band zur Digitalisierung dann auf. Vor der Digitalisierung reinigen wir die Bandmaschine standardmäßig. Dazu reinigen wir vor allem den Wiedergabekopf. Wenn das nicht passiert, dann wird der Klang sehr dumpf. Alle Elemente, die an das Band drankommen, werden gesäubert. Wie man sieht, lohnt sich das auch immer. So, dann richten wir das Band für die Wiedergabe ein. Wir sehen, ist das Vorlaufband relativ kurz. Dafür verlängern wir das dann. Wenn das Band vorbereitet ist, gehen wir dann in die Wiedergabe. die Aufnahme nochmal akustisch geprüft worden ist, ob alles richtig angekommen ist, wird das Audiofile auf einer externen Festplatte gespeichert, damit es in die Schweiz nach Bern geschickt werden kann.
The unique quality of the Ehrenreich Collection, its undeniable potential as a tool for complex cultural and musical learning, lies at once in the fascinating context of its creation and in the untempered liveness of the thousands of ephemeral voices it records. This digitization process is ongoing and must be pursued as quickly as possible to avoid losses due to the gradual deterioration of the tapes. Luckily, several scholars have already shown interest and offered assistance in identifying tapes and topics that are of immediate relevance to current research projects around the world. The upcoming conference on bootleg opera will provide a first opportunity for discussing the collection in an international context, establishing the best methods and practices for dealing with this sensitive and fascinating material.